Welcome back to Man Down Sports. As you can see from the thumbnail, Shaquille O'Neal is going to be the topic of discussion. Shaquille O'Neal went on the podcast, and make sure I get it right, Off the Record podcast. It's a podcast on YouTube. I think they mainly on Twitch. Two young ladies doing their thing in the world of sports, man, doing really good. So I wanted to shout out their podcast for sure. I already did a sound bite on this episode when Shaq actually was addressing RG3 in regards to his tweet to Angel Reese. So that was a good soundbite that kind of went viral. A lot of people were responding and reacting to it. But I went on and listened to the entire podcast, and there was a lot. Like I really wanted to do an entire episode just on what Shaquille O'Neal was saying because he said a lot of things, man. You know, he's talking about Jokic and how he would dominate him, and he's talking about who the top five players is in the league right now. And I think he had SGA like number one, and he left Jokic off. So a lot of things that was coming out of that episode that I'm probably going to respond to in a live later on today. But I wanted to address this one thing with Shaquille O'Neal kind of backing up what Gilbert Arenas said and backing up what T Mac said, in regards to Kobe Bryant, and people not respecting the number two rings, and T Mac actually being able to win rings if he was playing with Shaq. And he said it was absolutely right. Right, that's what Shaquille O'Neal said. So let's dissect it. Right, and um, it's not all bad. It's not all bad because he made sure he made sure he differentiated Kobe from a lot of players. So he somewhat gave Kobe his flowers, but he was trying to do both. He was trying to set Kobe apart, but at the same time, man, let's not pretend like T Mac wouldn't do, because I think a lot of people in responding to T Mac kind of went hard on him and talked about how he didn't have this and he didn't have that and he couldn't do this and he's not Kobe and all this stuff, and then call him a hater. I don't think I went too 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 far on T Mac. I don't think I did. I hope I didn't. I hope I didn't get disrespectful, because I know those dudes are really really good friends, man. And he forever always talks about how much him and Kobe are like brothers, man. And Kobe spoke highly of him. Said he was a phenomenal player. We all know T Mac is a phenomenal player, but you just can't plug and play and assume things are going to happen just because skill sets are similar or the same, right? You just can't take Kobe out, put T Mac in, and then expect it to operate like a 2K basketball game, like it's NBA 2K. It's not the PlayStation. So just because you just put a 95 player to replace a 95 player on 2K don't mean you go get same or similar results. There's other things that are going on inside a person's brain, what's in a person's heart, what a person does off the court, what their mentality is, what their personality is. Is it going to clash with someone like Shaq? Is he going to fall in order? Like all of these things come to play. I just think Kobe was a perfect guy. I'm gonna get to it. I thought about bringing, because there was some stuff he said about Kobe getting double teamed and all this stuff. I wanted to bring footage of him in the Portland series and Sacramento series, and a lot of playoff series where he was getting doubled. But I was like, yeah, I'm not even gonna do that, because and if you know, if you watch the games, right. But what I will do is I will use Shaq's previous interviews in 2020 to debunk everything that he said in this 2025 interview. And I'm going to use T Mac's own words to debunk a lot of what Shaq said as well, because if you let these guys talk long enough and you hear them talk long enough, you can kind of ascertain what they really believe and what the real is. And when they're just saying things to kind of like, I don't know, throw a wrench in the game, I guess. But I'm gonna play for you Shaquille O'Neal's interview. I'll pause it. I'll speak a little bit, and then we'll go from there. So this is Shaquille O'Neal on Off the Records podcast.
The narrative of Kobe, when he had 3 rings, he was still compared to as an equal to T-Mac, who had 0. And he kind of said the quote, like, you don't really respect the second option. You know, you respect the guy who's in the driver's seat, but you don't really respect the passengers, alluding that you were in the driver's seat and Kobe was the passenger. Do you believe that narrative that's kind of been circulating now is fair or accurate, or kind of just your perspective? Because, like, obviously you were right there with Kobe as this is going on.
You know, a lot of times you can say certain words that can be taken as negative and positive. What he said was absolutely true. But Kobe's not your average passenger.
Mm.
That's what makes him different. And, you know, I can say this now, it doesn't really matter whose team it was, but don't ever get a twist on who was in charge. Don't ever in your life get it twisted on who was in charge. Okay? Mm-hmm. But now that we got that out the way, what he said was correct. But people respect Kobe. Like, it's just, but it's like you can have conversations, arguments, and you can have silly conversations. That's a silly conversation. Like, the man is vital to my 3 championships. Vital. I didn't do them by myself. Vital. At some parts of the series more vital than me. I did what I had to do, but if he don't do what he ever do, would we have 3? Never know. Right? I'm arrogant enough to say I can get 1 by myself. 3 by myself? No way. Right? And when I left, he struggled to get back. And then what they did, they brought in 2 7-footers to equal what I was doing, which helped him get 2 more.
Okay, I'm going to stop it there. Right? So, because I don't want to forget everything that he's saying. Remember the last part of what he just said was, when I left, he struggled to get back to contention with his team. And then they brought in 2 7-footers. He's talking about Andrew Bynum and Pau Gasol to equal what he was doing. All right. So I guess if you want to really dig deep into it and go and see what Pau and Andrew Bynum was averaging as far as points and rebounds, maybe it do equal what Shaq. I mean, because it wasn't like they were both putting up 32 like Shaq was, 35 like Shaq was. Kobe was putting up those points. There was more of a support role. So I think it might have been like 19 for Powell, 15 for Bynum. So yeah, maybe them together both was getting around 30 points that Shaq was getting. So all right, so we go come back to that. But then he gave Kobe his flowers at the beginning. He said he was vital to my 3 championships. He said Gilbert Arenas was right that the media differentiates number 1 rings from number 2 rings, which is true. However, there's always an exception to the rule. That's all what I say. Is always an exception to the rule. And we've all acknowledged there's an exception because no one penalizes Magic for playing with Kareem. So we know the media know what the exception to the rule is, and some players are that, but they just don't extend that. They don't extend that liberty to Kobe. They want to use that against Kobe, but they ignore it for Magic, right? So we know that some guys are just alpha in their game and alpha in their personality, which matches for someone being an alpha dog on a team or number 1 on a team or a team leader. So some teams have 2 number 1s, and like I tell you the difference between having a player that's alpha in mentality and an alpha in his game. Kobe was alpha in mentality and his game. Shaq was alpha in mentality and his game. So you got 2 alphas, 2 number 1s. With Anthony Davis or Scottie Pippen, they both are alpha in their game. They both have alpha game, number 1 game. They don't have alpha mentality, right? Anthony Davis would not. While he was in LA, he would not take the reins from LeBron and become the number one. He just couldn't take it from him, right? Just couldn't take it to him. We'll come back to this later when we get to T-Mac. You just remember that. The beta mentality. Like, Anthony Davis has the alpha game. He has the number one game. He doesn't have the personality to be a number one over a long period of time, over a career, over all the pressure, over all the ups and downs and all of that stuff, right? Some people just don't have that. So Kobe did have that. Magic obviously had that, right? So you have guys that are number ones, and I think Magic and Kobe is that. That's what Shaq is explaining. He said Kobe is not your average co-star. He's not your average co-pilot. He's just not. He right. So he explained that. But then he got to the part where he said, I left, they replaced me with 2 7-footers, and trying to make it seem like, Kobe need the type of production that Shaq gave, which everyone needs a number two, but he's trying to say, they pretty much had Shaq there because they replaced me with 2 guys, right? But if we'll and now he's saying, and that's how he got his rings back, right? That's Shaq giving Kobe his flowers, but notice his ego still had to come in because a couple of things he did when he said, I don't want to get into whose team it was because it was 2 alphas battling for that team. That was what was going on with Shaq and Kobe. It was 2 alphas battling for that team. Kobe felt like, I work harder than him. He's lazy. He doesn't work out in the offseason. He comes back to training camp out of shape and fat. Same type of complaints people got about Zion and Luka. Shaq was doing it, right? Everybody don't have the luxury of having a Kobe Bryant beside them that can take over the first half of the season while you run yourself back in shape, and then be told to pull the reins back by their head coach and give it back to him once he's in shape. And oh, by the way, this dude is still battling me for everything. Like, you're out of shape, I'm in shape. I'm scoring 40 points 9 times in a row, multiple times in the season. Like, this is what I'm doing. I'm always in shape. I'm always ready. But the out of shape guy's telling me, you shooting too much, pass me the damn ball, because he feels like, I'm the alpha. This is my team. I was here first. I'm older than you. I'm the vet. You the young buck. That's the position Shaq was comfortable with Kobe. He wasn't comfortable with Kobe over him, unless it was convenient for him, right? As we're going to hear him say once I push play, right? So that's what Shaq wanted for Kobe, and they was always battling for that number one for that Lakers franchise, right? So you heard him say, even after he gave Kobe his flowers, he took his shades off. You couldn't see it because it's just audio, but he took his shades off and looked at the girl and said, "Don't ever get it twisted," or who the leader was. Like, why all these years later you still needed to make that a distinction? Why was that important? Right. So he did that, and then he had to come back and say, "Let me reinforce some things about who I am as Shaq." It took 2 people to replace me. Kobe still had Shaq. It just took 2 people to replace him. Right. But I want to use that same logic. And if you such a bad boy, and Kobe struggled when you left until he got your replacement with 2 guys, you had a guard just like Kobe. You said was the first Kobe and Penny Hardaway. Couldn't get it done with him. You got the 1 finals, couldn't get back with him. You left. You came over here. You said 2 guys replaced you, but before you had Kobe, you had 2 guys that was putting in the production that he was putting in. He had Eddie Jones, who was putting in the points. Well, when you add Nick Van Exel on Eddie Jones' points, that was Kobe. And then Eddie Jones' defense was Kobe. And Eddie Jones was an all-star. And Van Exel, I think, made all-star 1 year or 2. So you had 2 guards that was giving you the Kobe production. You couldn't get it done with those 2 guards. You had Penny Hardaway in Orlando who's giving you the Kobe production, and you couldn't get it done. And then you had D Wade in Miami that was giving you Kobe production. You did get it done one time, but no three-peat. Not even a repeat. Not even a second finals appearance. So it got to be something about this dude, Kobe, where you can get to 4 straight finals and win 3 out of the 4 for a three-peat. That was different from Eddie Jones and Nick Vanessa as a package deal. That was different from D Wade. That was different from Penny, which is also probably different from T-Mac, which we'll get to. So you just can't plug and play like that. But obviously, you wasn't all that important if you could leave and he can get Andrew Bynum and Pau Gasol, 2 players who are not top 50, not top 75, not top 100. He used those 2 players to replace Shaq and went to 3 straight finals and got 2 out of the 3. Very similar to what he did with Shaq. So we're noticing that there's really something special about Kobe that is missing from a lot of other players that might have his equal talent.
So what Gilbert said was correct, but I think it was taken negatively. And a lot of jocks. Oh, yeah, you got 3, but you got 3 because of Shaq. And I hear the same thing. Oh, yeah, you got 3 because of Kobe. Like I see posts all the time. Oh, y'all say Shaq carried Kobe, and they put Kobe stats in when he averaged more than me. We carried each other. 1-2 punch. I've never seen a fighter in a long time just knock out a person with one hand. And I've seen them all. I've seen them set you up, and then boom. And then sometime they set you up, and then boom. That was us. One game, I'm going to do this. One game, he going to do that. One game, we both going to do it. When it come time that we need it, I'm going to do it, and he going to do it. And what T-Mac said was correct, too.
Okay, so here we get into what T-Mac said. So everything he was saying there, he was still giving Kobe his flowers. He's saying, hey, man, we'll 1-2 punch. He carried me just as much as I carried him and all that stuff, right? So we can close the book on that.
Think about that all the time. You switch our positions. Well, let me ask you, you think I could have got 3 with T-Mac?
No.
In a row?
No.
Let me go on the record and say T-Mac was a bad motherfucker.
Right. T-Mac was a bad boy. D Wade was a bad boy. Penny Hardaway was a bad boy. There's something different about Kobe. So T-Mac can do everything Kobe could do. Penny could do everything Kobe could do pre-injury. D Wade could do everything Kobe could do. You only got 1 finals appearance with D Wade. Y'all won it. You got 4 with Kobe. Y'all won 3. You got 1 with Penny. You lost it. You just can't assume that if T-Mac replaces Kobe, that you just get rings, right? Let me explain to you why I think there's something different about Kobe. I'll let T-Mac explain it.
Was there a specific time, like maybe in your rookie year, maybe after the Adidas deal, where you sort of felt that you had it under control as far as
I never felt, no.
Yeah.
When in my earlier days, I never felt like I had it under control, ever. I was trying to control it the best way I possibly could because I didn't have the knowledge. Right. I'm young. I didn't have the knowledge. I'm just maneuvering through this shit just by trial and error, just trying to figure it out as I go. But having Kobe at the time, right? I could pick up the phone, call Kobe, right? Because he's somebody that I leaned on, you know, religiously at that time. Very intelligent person, right? He's very grounded. He comes from a 2-parent home. Like his structure and my structure is totally 2 different structures. I needed to have that conversation and learn from him who had the structure and had the intelligence to help me maneuver through this bullshit that I know nothing about.
Right.
So it was good that, you know, we had the same agency. We both was Adidas guys at the time, but I could just pick up the phone and call my man and be like, yo, I'm struggling with this. What should I do? And he was, you know, so gracious enough to give me the game. And that was through our whole career.
I mean, what would you guys usually talk about? Like around, were there like specific moments? Was it like going to Orlando and becoming like the franchise guy? Like what was it? What was
life?
Everything.
Everything, bro. We talked about everything. Everything. I mean, I was living with it. I stayed with it. So
yeah.
We had these conversations, and then
wait, y'all lived together?
Huh?
You say you stayed with him? You said?
I stayed with him, yeah. And,
I didn't know that.
At his house in LA.
Okay.
Stayed with him.
Okay.
And then we went to a trip to Paris together for Adidas. So just to have those conversations, man, it really got me through a lot. And I'm not even talking about basketball. I'm just talking about the other shit with having money and having to deal with, family and maneuvering through all of that.
Right.
Basketball life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What comes with that? I didn't know how to deal with that. Kobe grew up in this.
Yeah.
Right? He grew up in this.
Yeah.
So he's got the blueprint. This shit is all a blank canvas for me, and I'm trying to figure it out.
Yeah. Wow.
Trying to figure it out. Even from like a mentality standpoint, how you approach games, right? How you work out. I don't have any of this. My nigga, I just used to hoop as a kid. Go to bars to hoop, found a playground and hoop. I ain't really work out until I got to the pros.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
It was a lot that I had to learn because in that span of, my rookie year to when I got to Orlando, like that growth as a person and as a player, I've never seen anything like it. But if you know me, if you know me and you know my relationship with my brother, I'm an advocate of always putting Kobe in top 5. Like I'm always battling for my brother out here. So that one moment, that's what we gonna use. I was dying laughing at the shit that I was saying. It was so funny.
Okay, so you heard T-Mac, his own words. This is an episode of 7 p.m. in Brooklyn on Carmelo Anthony's podcast that they just did last week. And that's him describing how immature and inexperienced he was, and someone that's practically in the same age as him was totally different, way more mature, way more experienced. T-Mac said he didn't even know how to work out, not just get in the gym and put up 400, 500 jump shots and work on one thing and do all that. Not just that, he didn't know how to get in the gym and lift his weights. He wasn't a gym rat like that, like Kobe was. He learned that from Kobe. He lived with Kobe. He seen Kobe watching all those VHS tapes of Dr. J and MJ and Jerry West and all of these guys, right? He's seen all these things. These are things he's already admitted to, and you just heard some of the things he was saying. Kobe had the work ethic because he grew up in it. 2-parent household, a dad that played in the NBA and played overseas. He knew how to work out. When you hear interviews of Byron Scott, Robert Ory, Isaiah Ryder, Brian Shaw, all these guys that was on the Lakers when Kobe got there, they said Kobe was more mature than us, and we had been in the league 5, 6, 7 years already. They said Kobe came in as a 17-year-old more mature than them. Reggie Miller said that he used to see him in the summer with a broken right hand, still in the gym, getting up shots with his left hand at the UCLA runs. Like this dude was that type of dedicated, right? So you telling me a kid like T-Mac explained from the hood that didn't know how to work out, who wasn't mature, who needed to lean on Kobe during his darkest times mentally, what he was going through. You trying to tell me that kid was going to come in at 17 and have to deal with Shaq fighting him for the team and trying to bully him and do whatever the hell Shaq was trying to do to Kobe, and that constant bickering. You trying to tell me that kid T-Mac was going to be able to handle that and take the team from Shaq? The same kid that in Toronto couldn't take the team from Vince Carter. So T-Mac in Toronto couldn't take the team from Vince Carter, but somehow he was going to take the team from Shaq in LA when Shaq was fighting for the team. Shaq just told you he didn't want to get the team up. He was fighting for it. Kobe fought Shaq for the team and eventually won it. And they sent Shaq to Miami in a trade and said, we going with the young fella. T-Mac played second fiddle to Vince Carter and was on the bench. He signed to Orlando as a bench player. He was going over to Orlando to be Grant Hill's backup, just like he was Vince Carter's backup. So he went over there to be a backup. Fortunately for him, or unfortunately for him, he didn't, because Grant Hill got hurt. He had to be the guy. They also thought Tim Duncan was coming as well, right? That we got that as well.
Did you hear like it's a possibility of Grant and Duncan coming with you too?
No. Me going with them. That's the
so they supposed to be there before you.
Yeah. No. What I'm saying is they were recruiting both of them before they was recruiting me. You got to think.
Okay.
I'm only in my third year. I was a bench player. You know what I'm saying? I came off the bench. You talking about, Tim Duncan and Grant Hill, and I was just thrown in there.
The jump, like where we missed it at, that you went from like Toronto and then you got this Orlando Magic jersey, you instantly top 5 in scoring, you instantly, like the team just flipped the script and changed completely.
It was opportunity. It was liberation.
Yeah.
We all want that as a player, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So again, I go from being a role player in Toronto, my last year there, to being handed the keys. You know, I was the first player to sign a max contract as a bench player.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it was just opportunity. It was a liberation for me to have that freedom to go out and do what I do. I didn't know I was going to be a 25-point scorer, maybe 20, have 6 assists, 5 rebounds, something like that. But, I put in a lot of work, and I trusted that work that I put in. And, and the result of that, I had a phenomenal year.
So that's Grant Hill on record on the Knuckleheads podcast, not Grant Hill, T-Mac on record on the Knuckleheads podcast, saying that he was leaving Toronto to show up to be Grant Hill's co-star. He was following them over there. They was recruiting Grant Hill and Tim Duncan. He was an afterthought, right? Just so happened he got over there. Grant Hill couldn't go. Tim Duncan didn't show up. And voila, he's the number one. And it's the same situation Kuminga is in right now. A bench player being held back by the Warriors, and he needs someone to be able to give him an opportunity. So T-Mac got that opportunity, be able to get up any shot that he want to, and he was able to average about 25 the first year he was in Orlando, right? So good for him on that, right? But you see the difference, right? You see the mentality, right? He's coming over here to be a backup. That's how he saw himself. He said, man, I didn't think I was going to get 25 a game. I was thinking maybe 20, because he was getting 15 the last year in Toronto. So he thinking, yeah, I make a 5-point jump to 20 maybe, being a backup to Grant Hill. But he ended up getting 25, right? Kobe wasn't like that. Kobe always wanted to be the guy. Listen to Shaq.
Yeah. But see, you got to understand, when you T-Mac out there by himself, he don't really have room to operate. Our guy had room to operate because I got
right. So and this is the part. This is the part that I think is very disingenuous. And when I played the interview from 2020, everything that he's saying here, he's going to put his foot in his mouth and contradict himself from a previous interview. But he's saying T-Mac didn't have room to work because he's getting triple and double teamed, and he's saying that Kobe is got just all this freedom and room because of him. And I just want you to get this through your mind. Shaq never leaves the block or the paint. It's not like he's a stretch 4 or a stretch 5. He's not going to be at the 3-point line, space in the floor. So to say that Kobe had room to just do whatever because Shaq was down low, it actually is opposite. Kobe likes to get to the hole. Shaq is down there. And most of the time when Kobe do drive to the hole, and you either go give up a layup or a dunk, or you're going to help. And when they help, he usually go up and then get a nice pass around the Shaq. You can go look up all that stuff, get a nice pass to Shaq, and Shaq get an easy dunk. So most of the time, Kobe was creating for Shaq. Of course, Shaq could get the ball in the post and create for himself. But when Kobe was going to the hole, Shaq was the beneficiary a lot of times. Little dump off passes and stuff like that. Kobe did that a lot. And that was doubles coming to him off Shaq. And that's how Shaq was getting those dunks. Now, the beneficiary of Shaq getting doubled was usually a shooter like Brian Shaw, a shooter like Penn Berthy, a shooter like Derek Fisher, Robert Ory, the guys who didn't use their one-on-one skills to get their own shot. So when they doubled, the rotation to come, you see Brian Shaw, Robert Ory get a jump shot, get a 3-point, Ron Harper, Derek Fisher, those type of guys, right? Glenn Rice when he was there, right? But a lot of times Kobe, when Shaq went to the bench, Kobe was in the post in the triangle. When Shaq went to the bench, it was Kobe's turn to do his thing. So the fact that Shaq just act like Kobe just had all this space because he was out there can't be further from the truth. This dude got doubled a lot too.
3 people on me.
You didn't have 3 people on you, Shaq. When you get the ball in the post, yeah, there's a double and there's a triple team to try to stop Shaq. Yes. Right? That benefits most of the shooters. Right? That's number one. Number two, if you're not getting the ball in the post, there's nothing you can do to help Kobe Bryant not get doubled. They're just double off someone else. They don't have to double off Shaq. They'll double off someone else. The help is coming. If Kobe's driving to the hole, the help is coming.
Right. You got 3 people on me.
Yeah.
T-Mac, double, quadruple, triple team. Kobe, and Kenny Smith said this all the time. Kobe didn't get double and triple team a lot. He was free to roam around and do all that stuff.
That's not true.
So what T-Mac said, I believe to be true, because T-Mac was a bad boy. What Gilbert said, I believe to be true. It's just construed probably negatively. And that's a good thing about conversations. But what? He not, but T-Mac was a bad boy.
T-Mac was a bad boy. I agree.
What he said was correct. The only way you can differ him is from championships.
Yeah, I don't believe that either. That's not the only way they differ.
T-Mac long, bad one-on-one, could score at will. Remember what he did to San Antonio? A couple seconds left. Here it is right here. Remember that? When he able to hit like 4 threes in like 5 seconds? Remember that? T-Mac was a bad boy too, but he didn't really have enough room to operate. So I agree with what T-Mac said. Probably get a lot of flack, but I always say to myself, I think I could have got 3 in a row with T-Mac.
3 in a row.
I think I could have got 2 with Vince. Oh, I know I get 6 with Steph.
6 with Steph.
Like this is like because now I'm not a player, I'm a fan, and I do what fans do.
He said it. Now that's when him just being facetious. That's just him just talking. I do what fans do. He like to kick shit up, right? But let's talk about some of the things he said. He said the only way you can differentiate Kobe and T-Mac is rings. That's the only difference between them. Nothing about their mentality. None of that. The only difference is rings. Okay. Keep that in mind. He said he could have got 3 with T-Mac. I already addressed him getting replaced with 2 7-footers, and we've already tried to apply that across the board and say, well, why couldn't you replace Kobe with 2 guards? Eddie Jones and Van Exel. How come you couldn't get the ring with Van Exel and Eddie Jones replacing the production that Kobe was giving? Is it something special about Kobe? Right? You were replaced, and he got 2 rings and 3 finals appearances without you. But without him, with 2 guards replacing him, you got nothing in LA, nothing in Orlando with Penny Hardaway, and 1 ring and 1 finals appearance with Miami and Wade. And all of them boys is just as bad as T-Mac. Penny Hardaway, D Wade is just as bad as T-Mac. And since we're doing 2-for-1s, Van Exel and Eddie Jones, that's the same production of Kobe or T-Mac or Penny Hardaway or Wade. So you've had 3 variations of bad motherfuckers not named Kobe. A 2-for-1 with Van Exel and Eddie Jones, a bad motherfucking Wade, a bad motherfucking Penny. 1 ring. But that Kobe Bryant, you got 3 out of 4. And that's what you fighting him every step of the way. Fighting him every step of the way. Right? So I dressed up that 7-footer thing, but here are the things you talked about. No difference between T-Mac and Kobe, but rings. You could have got 3 with T-Mac. You could have got 6 with Steph. And Kobe never got double and had so much room. All right. Let's hear what you said in 2020.
I was comfortable with LA because after we lost, I was already in LA.
Right.
And then it was a chance for me to
really
do other stuff. Yeah. Do other stuff. And they had a nice team. Van Exel was cold. They had Eddie Jones. They had Eldon Campbell. They probably was going to take some work, but they had a nice team.
Hey, there's that 2-for-1 I was talking about. He said he was replaced with Powell, 2 7-footers, Powell and Andrew Bynum. He just talked about that 2-for-1 he had with Eddie Jones and Van Exel. Why you couldn't get nothing with them? Why did it take Kobe to be implemented into the offense with no Eddie Jones and no Van Exel? Okay, now Kobe is you and Shaq now. Why was Kobe special? Why you couldn't get it done with Van Exel and Eddie? Interesting. Why you couldn't get done with Penny, and why you only got it done one time with Wade? Interesting. So this whole notion that you just automatically get 3 straight with T-Mac is starting to look a little dim.
But I can remember this vividly. I'm signing. As soon as I get signed, Mr. West said, "Hey, man, I just moved Vladdy. I don't know how I got this kid. I got a kid named Kobe Bryant. You and him, we're going to get multiple championships." And I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. Because I'm looking at all the goddamn zeros. Yeah. So, well, yeah, he said that. Like, he saw something in Kobe that nobody saw.
How did you and Kobe connect?
Jerry West saw it.
And y'all arrived at the same time.
He was a guy that wanted it right away.
He wanted it right away. That's the first distinction between T-Mac and Kobe. Kobe came in chopping at the bit. T-Mac came in not knowing what to do and just waiting. This, I'm willing to just wait my turn. I'll play behind Vince. I just fall behind in Vince, and even when I leave Toronto, I just go and fall behind Grant Hill and Tim Duncan if he comes. Kobe wasn't trying to fall behind nobody. I know what I am. I'm this. So much so that he said, "Oh, y'all think I'm Pippen? Well, let me get away from Shaq. Hey, if Shaq stay here, I'm leaving." How many people made it harder for themselves so they can prove to everybody that they were who they were? I mean, KD was forced to leave Golden State because the media kept saying, "Oh, you need to challenge yourself to leave win without Golden State. I don't think you can do it." So he challenged himself to do it, but he didn't come up with 2 rings like Kobe did. Other than Kobe, I don't know any other superstar who has said, "I'm trying to leave." Oh, and Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving said, "Hey, I don't like this narrative how y'all talking about me as LeBron's son, and y'all think I'm cold because LeBron got me under his wing. I'm out. Right? I'm going to Boston. I'm going to pave my own way." Right? So KD, Kyrie, Kobe, kind of the only superstars I can think of that wanted to get out of the shadow of an older player that had them kind of under them. Kobe didn't like that. Right? T-Mac not so much. He was comfortable. He was okay with that. Just so happened he got to Orlando and there was nobody for him to be under. So he had to go out and do his thing. And I'm glad he did. But just listen to how Shaq is breaking all this down in 2020 and putting his own foot in his mouth.
And we all understand pecking order. My team.
It's my team.
That ain't about to happen.
Right.
That ain't about to happen. So Kobe wanted it from the time he came in at 17. He wanted the team. Shaq said, "No, this is my team." That's not about to happen. Think about that attitude. If T-Mac came into that league on that team with Shaq at 17 and Shaq is fighting him from the word go. First of all, it probably wouldn't happen because T-Mac wouldn't be saying, I want this team. I'm looking at Shaq, who's already been to the final, who's a former #1 pick, who's already a top 50 player, and he ain't even done with half of his career. They named Shaq top 50 very early, who done dunked on everybody, breaking backboards and rims. Imagine getting fresh out of high school saying, I'm so confident in myself, I think it should be my team, not Shaq's. That's Kobe. I don't think T-Mac would have done that. And if T-Mac don't do that, and then he falls under him, under the leadership of Shaq, and he falls under that, and he's watching Shaq not work out, not take things serious, only playing 60 games a year, taking the whole summer off, coming back to training camp fat. T-Mac see that at 17. From what you just heard, how T-Mac talked about how inexperienced and immature he was. What do you think T-Mac does under Shaq's tutelage, under Shaq's shadow, under that type of leadership? Kobe clashed with that because Kobe didn't have none of that in his blood. He clashed with that. I don't think T-Mac would clash with it. I think he would have fell right in place with it and was like, oh, this is what we doing? This is what Hall of Famers do? Okay, well, cool. He would have fell right in line. And he probably would, they probably would have never made the decision to get rid of Eddie Jones. It don't look like this kid want it. Kind of what Kuminga doing.
But I saw that he had something in him. And he wanted it right away. A lot of guys don't have that when they come in.
A lot of guys don't have it.
Rope, but he wanted it. So his rookie year, we let him do what he do, make his mistakes. But the defining moment in his greatness was we were playing Utah. Nobody wanted to take the last shots. I'm not taking the last shot, shooting 40% from the free throw line. Y'all ain't gonna be talking about me. Shaq lost the game. So he takes 3 shots to air balls. If you can remember, and I hope you can show this clip, I was the one that grabbed him and said, hey, man, don't worry about it. One day people gonna fear you.
One day people go fear you, and fear him they did. He took those shots in Utah. That's a team with Van Exel, Eddie Jones, and Shaq on it. Shaq just said he didn't want it in the fourth quarter, which lets you further know why Kobe was different when people look at him as a number 2. Michael Jordan never said, I don't want it in the fourth quarter, and Pippen, we go let you close. Michael Jordan had to be the beginner, the middle game, the closer, all of that. Kobe was the closer for LA. Shaq had a luxury of saying, oh, go ahead. Good luck with T-Mac doing that at that same age. Good luck with that. This man was 18-year-old. Well, how old was he at that time? 18 or 19, taking game winners in a playoff game against Utah, Stockton and Malone. And he took it 3 or 4 times, airballed him. Eddie Jones didn't want it. The Shaq, the same dude that said, that ain't happening. You're not taking over this team. It's my team. That same dude in the fourth quarter was like, you got it, young fella. What kind of leader is that? That's what we call a well without water. You claiming you my leader, but when I need you to lead, you take your hands off. When I need you to be an example, coming back to training camp in shape, you're not that. When I need you to be working hard during the summer in the off season, you're not doing that. When I need you to play 82 games, you're not doing that. When I need you in the fourth quarter, you're afraid to miss free throws. Give it to the young fella. That's that leadership. And that's why people realize that Kobe always been a number 1, just stuck behind Shaq based on politics.
And the next year he come in, we come in a little more. He wanted it. it. He wanted it. And this is where I wish I the little guy. I don't play that shit. So instead of, but fortunately it still worked out. We still won 3 out of 4, but a lot of serious stuff that shouldn't have happened because of the ego. And it was probably my fault. So, you know, even though we didn't hang out or do anything of that, I'm always looking for him first. And he's always looking for me. When he go into the hole to get double teamed, he dropping it off. So
when he's always looking for me, when he's going to the hole and getting double teamed, he drop it off. We just heard you say in the interview just recent that Kobe didn't get double teamed. But in this interview, you're saying when he go to the hole and get double teamed, he's dropping it off. So that's a contradiction. Plus, we already knew that. We've seen him in the post getting double. He's got Bonzi Wells on him. The double's coming from Scotty. They try to put Damon Stoudemire on the floor, and niggas got that big lineup in with 6'6" Ron Harper, 6'6" Kobe. Who the heck Damon Stoudemire go guard? Kobe go straight to the block, mouse in the house. As soon as he get the ball in the post, what you think happening? The double's coming. Here comes Steve Smith. Oh, here come Rasheed. So he's getting doubled in the post, and he's getting blitz on the perimeter with doubles, and he's also getting doubled off the help defense when he's driving to the hole. And that's how he was able to find Shaq so many times. So we got footage of that. For him to say he don't get doubled, I guess you was trying to make the point that, man, T-Mac took a lot of heat last week. Let me come in and fan some of these flames. But you taught a falsehood. And you putting your foot in your mouth, contradicting yourself. So he did get doubled. Okay.
I think that helped us. And I always tell people that in relationships, you know, when you focus on the task, sometimes the relationship dwindles, but you always got to have respect. You always got to have respect.
Being 49-year-old Shaq, looking back on those Laker days, you said you won 3 out of 4. You said you probably caused with some of the ego. If you had the wisdom you have now back then, how many championships you feel like you guys could have won?
7.
7?
He said he would have won 3 with T-Mac, 2 with Vince Carter, 6 with Steph. Now he's saying 7 with Kobe. And then he said
the reason
10.
I got traded, it wasn't about me and Kobe beef. It was what they wanted me to take less money. Not doing that.
Coach said at least 10 when we asked him. He said at least 10.
Yeah, it said 7 and 10.
If it wasn't for the Spurs.
Yeah.
7 and 10.
No, that's true.
Coach said.
No, that's true. But I got money. I had money.
Right.
I just should have been like, all right, I raised you enough. It's your team now. I know what I'm going to do. I'm still going to do my 28-10. All right. But I was like, nah, I want 150. I don't care what you, like, if I had all I would do again, I probably would have had a meeting with the family. What y'all want to do? Want me to take less money, take a less role, stay here, or you would still want me to be Shaq? See, it's that ego. And the ego still got me what I want. And I still went to Miami. Pat took care of me. I still won one, but I would have liked to have stayed there the rest of my career.
Imagine that. So 3.
So he said he should have just gave the team to Kobe and stopped being stubborn, but the ego, he couldn't give it to Kobe. He couldn't get a team to Kobe. Kobe been trying to get this team for him for years. They was fighting for it. Maybe Kobe had it the last 2 years. They was fighting for it though. But look what happened when he go to Miami.
Championships, 3 finals MVP. You spoke to, if you ever got to the finals, you was going to dominate. You did that off to South Beach. What's that experience like with a young D-Wade?
So when I got to D-Wade, I was like, I know you heard all the stories. It's your team.
Wow.
What I should have did in L.A.
What he should have did in L.A.
So we ain't gonna have any problem. You the man. You the CEO. I'll be the consultant.
But imagine that as a young D-Wade hearing this motherfucker say, I'm on your team, but it's your team.
Because crazy, I didn't even, it's not that I don't pay attention to guys. I just don't care. I got my own thing going on. I didn't even know who he was. So while we're in the playoffs, I'm watching him go at Baron Davis. I'm like, who is this?
Young motherfucker. Yeah.
All right, so then when the Lakers talking about playing me, I was like, I know where I want to go. I want to go back to Florida.
Oh, they gave you that chance? They gave you that opportunity?
Yeah, so I want to go play with him. So as soon as we got there the first day, I said, look, man, you heard this, you heard that. Me and you ain't going to have no problem. You the man. Take as many shots as you want.
Sheesh.
I need to get 28-10 to make everybody feel good, make myself feel good. So, and we never had problems.
Okay. So all that nonsense he was talking about, Kobe never got doubled. We can debunk that footage. And Kobe had all this room. We can debunk that. Shaq is just standing in the paint. That's not true. Just look it up. Right. So Kobe never getting doubled and Kobe having all this room to operate. Not true. He could get 6 rings with Steph. He said he can get 7 or 10 to Kobe. We know that's just nonsense, right? You know, you just throwing numbers out there. Let's go ahead and exit that out. Only difference between Kobe and T-Mac is rings. No, the Mamba mentality is a real thing. It is. He's just different. T-Mac said it. Jerry West knew it. Everybody on the Lakers organization knew it. He was just different. Coach K knows it. He said he's never met nobody like Kobe and Mike. They're the same personality, same dude. Everybody say they're killers and all that stuff. That's different. He's different than T-Mac. T-Mac, talent-wise and measurements and all these things might be similar or better, but he's just a different mentality. There's no way he get in that hostile environment with Shaq, fighting for his opportunity, fighting Dale Harris for minutes, and fighting Shaq, playing behind Eddie Jones and Nick Van Exel. There's no way he keeps pushing the same way Kobe did. He just said he leaned on Kobe. He had to get advice from Kobe. All this, it would have been different. All right, let's just say it would have been different. I'm not, I out of respect for T-Mac and me liking his game and liking T-Mac as a player, I won't just disrespect him and say he wouldn't get no rings, but we'll know it would be different. I'm not just going to say he would have three-peated. It would have been different. So let's debunk that. That's not the only difference between them. 3 rings with T-Mac, debunk. The 2 7-footers replacing you. Just apply that same logic to Nick Van Exel and Eddie Jones, 2 guards replacing Kobe. You talking about, you played with all these bad T-Mac was a bad motherfucker. Well, you played with 3 variations of bad motherfuckers. A 2-for-1 with Van Exel and Eddie Jones, D Wade, and Penny Hardaway. That's 3 variations of bad motherfuckers, and that's 1 ring. You got 1 ring out of those 3 bad variations of bad motherfuckers. And you just go 3-peat with T-Mac. I beg to differ. So I think everything's debunked. Shaq, you put your foot in your mouth, big dog. But I understand why you did it. And we all love T-Mac. And we all love Shaq and Kobe. But Shaq, let's just be real. Kobe was a different dude. He was a different animal, same beast. All right, man. I catch you on the next episode.